Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Shine with Tish podcast. And the crowd says, hey, I have
Hey.
yes, all the way from UK. We have the Obuchis, the
Come on.
Jedi, and the Spark. Please let me hear you say hey.
Hey.
Yes. OB and Piju, please introduce yourselves to our listening audience.
Hello. It is fantastic to be here. Thanks for having us on the show.
Sure.
Tish, my name is Obi, the Jedi, Obuchi.
And my name's Beju, the Spark.
Yes.
And we are married 22 years and
22
counting.
and counting.
Wow, that is beautiful. Wow.
We're parents.
OMG.
We're friends. We work together. We're coaches, consultants, and we are friends. Most importantly, we're friends.
So we run a company, Core Leaders International, which is focused on developing leaders from the inside out. And there's more that we can share on that.
Yeah.
I love that phrase, Obuchis, from the inside out. There's a ministry at one of my former churches, and the ministry was called From the Inside Out. And that particular ministry was claiming an unborn child's life and their salvation from in utero. So the expecting moms, they would worship together. They would sing praises together. They would speak to their babies together. The babies were even here. And so when the babies came, the babies were just joyful and happy babies who loved, they were used to worshiping. They were used to when to be quiet. And I just praise God for your consulting agency that is an aspect of your course. So I am going to not steal the thunder, but stay on script because my personality is one that likes to tango in the rain. Okay. So Obi and Piju, we first met in Dubai at the CXO 2.0 conference, which was completely amazing. Would you say?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
For real.
Brilliant.
Yeah. The connections, the bonds, the insights. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. It was Obi's stature. Obi, how tall are you?
I am 6'3".
You are huge. And Piju's bright colors. I love my Afrocentric combinations you guys, Piju particularly was representing, which initially caught my attention. Can you explain two of the four? So I'm going to ask ladies first. I'm going to ask Piju to explain two of the four core when it comes to leaders that thrive in your personal consultancy.
I mean, it's a great question. And I think starting with the word thrive is an invitation for everyone, whether you're an emerging leader or you're an established leader, the invitation is for you to thrive. And the two areas I'm going to focus on are personal thriving and relational thriving. You can't, we hear this so often, the phrase, you can't give what you don't have. And you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And I think it's really important. Obi talks a lot about putting on your oxygen mask first.
Yes.
We travel. We talked about going to Dubai. You hear that on every airplane flight. It's put on your oxygen mask first, and then you're better placed to help other people, to support other people, children even, to put their masks on. So there's definitely an invitation to develop yourself. From the inside out, away from public accolades and attention. It's knowing that in the quietness, in the silence of your internal world, the invitation is to grow better, is to grow brighter, to grow bigger and bolder. And for different people, it comes in, through different means. But as leaders, it's important that you don't sidetrack your personal development because you're in a hurry to develop other people.
That's right.
And as I talk about developing other people, I'm going to bring in the whole relational piece, which is the power of team. And if you think about team, the acronym, together, everyone achieves
more. Yes.
And I think there's a possibility of burning out if you try and do this on your own. I don't think leaders are meant to do life in isolation.
That's right.
I feel there's another invitation to do life with your peers, to do life with friends, to do life with people who champion you, who call out the greatness that we know is within all of us.
Yes.
And the spillover of developing yourself personally is that in community, you develop each other, you trust, you feel safe, and you grow because...
Absolutely, you grow. You see your blind spots, Piju.
Defo. So those are the two areas, and Obi will do the other two, which are really important as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and just to go back, why is it even important to start from the inside? One of the things that we see in the work that we do, training, coaching over the last 20 years, coached and trained thousands of leaders globally. And there's a challenge around burnout that Peju mentioned, the stress, levels of engagement, lack of high performance when needed, under pressure. This is one of the things that I've noticed, that when life squeezes us and the pressure is on, and we are squeezed on all sorts of ways in all sorts of moments, whether that's financial, it's health, it's market, it's client expectations, it's regulatory expectations, whatever the case may be. When life squeezes us and the pressure is on, what we're like on the inside comes out.
It comes out, Obi, and sometimes it's not pretty.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And so this is about having that internal strength, the personal, the relational that Peju mentioned. But then also there's the professional component. It's how aligned is what I'm doing to my strengths and my capabilities. And therefore, I'm able to do what I'm doing every day, adding value to clients with a growth mindset, with a focus, with a drive for success. But that comes when I'm really aligning my strengths and my capabilities and passions to what I'm doing every day. And then there's the final component, which is
my favorite.
I know, right? I know.
Last by no means least.
Last but by no means least. And this is where it's the spiritual component. It's a recognition that there is something so much bigger than ourselves that gives us a sense of purpose, that gives us an energy. We are able to connect to the best, the most authentic, truest version of ourselves, and prevent from running on empty. A lot of leaders burn out because they're running on empty. They're living on fumes rather than tapping deep into a greater source, a faith that is so much bigger than us. And that's really what gives us the energy to go the distance.
Yes. I'm going to add a little bit on that, and I'm going to work my way from spiritual and come back to personal. So spiritual, in my experience, when I decrease and humble myself, that's where God is able to do so much more. In my weakness, I don't have to try to do it all. When I invite him in, he comes and he just takes care of it. And it gives me the ability to hear how to direct my team, to hear this person needs some extra encouragement. This person I can back off on. They've got it covered. So when I find when I am in tune and I am aligned, I am able to make better decisions and able to take care of other people. Which helps me. So that's the spiritual into the professional. Then you have, I know the first one is personal and the second one, remind me, is relational, because the team is, you're relating with the team. So then you have, your team, but then it goes outside of your team, right? Your peers. And I like to refer to the amphitheater. You have those that have front row seats in your life.
Yeah.
I lectured a little intimacy for us only right before we started our taping.
Sure.
And so I shared with my girlfriends, hey, we're going to have a trip to the beach in my Jeep. Looking forward to it, right? Those are the intimate moments, the front row, and knowing how to, there's so many. We have a big football stadium, right? Soccer is huge in the UK, right? But not everybody can have front row. You have to have that discernment how to place people
Definitely,
so that you can ultimately protect your heart. It goes back to the personal. So I used to use the analogy when you squeeze someone, and I love the cover of your book with the orange and the slices coming out, right? So if you squeeze, there it is. There it is. Hold it up again, Piju. There it is, leaning with the inner core.
Yeah, so leading from your core.
Leading from your core. So what you have inside is so important that you do your inner work.
Absolutely.
You do your inner work so that when you're squeezed, you are squeezing out good, sunny delight orange juice, right? And not something bitter, an elixir that just is gonna poison and kill everybody else. That's
absolutely. You've got it. You got it nailed there. You got it nailed.
Thank you. Love it. So Obi, the book, Leading from Your Core, what is an excerpt you would like to share? And how can our audience purchase it?
So it's always interesting. What's an excerpt? I'm going to start from the beginning, just a bit of the preface, and then I'll tell you where people can get it. So preface, we desperately need more leaders who are committed to courageous, wholehearted leadership and who are self-aware enough to lead from their hearts. So that's Brené Brown. And then I go in, many leaders have lost their way. You could even argue that around the world, within our political institutions, commercial enterprises, voluntary groups, and religious organizations, very few leaders ever found the path to effective, engaging, and transformational leadership in the first place. It might sound like an insanely damaging indictment, but I say it soberly. Also, I generally don't think most of these leaders intentionally want to be ineffective or diminish their impact. Speaking from personal experience, many of us are either simply looking in the wrong place, have a faulty leadership paradigm, or have poor examples around us. And that's just setting the stage for we've got to go within and really develop self in order to have the impact that we know that we are called to have as leaders. And the subtitle of the book is The Path to Becoming a Purposeful, Courageous, and Resilient Leader. It's available on Amazon, Audible, if you're a Kindle, and now Core Leaders International website.
I love it. I have to get it. It reminds me of what I saw. I saw a short on YouTube by the late Miles Monroe.
Oh, I love him.
I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you saw that on my LinkedIn. But he said it's based on the perspective of yourself. He said, an elephant weighs a ton and more. It is one of the biggest animals in the jungle. It's huge. It's ginormous. But it's still not the king of the jungle.
Sure.
The lion is the king of the jungle and is smaller than the elephant, but his heart is fearless. He sees the elephant as lunch.
That's his
mindset.
That's
I don't care how big you are. I don't care how much muscles and tusk and mass you have. You're mine. I'm going to eat you one bite at a time. So that self-awareness, that confidence, that gusto, once you have it, once you have found it and identified that it lies within, You're fearless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
take care of the relationship and the team
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
connect with the creator of the universe.
Indeed.
Right? The
Indeed.
ego edging God out, you can humbly say, no, I need my God.
Absolutely.
I'm created in his image.
Yeah.
And
I was
because of him,
designed
you can
to
trust me
partner with
with,
him. Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So that preface reminded me of that Miles Monroe
You love
short
Miles
video.
Oh, yeah. Wow. This is the spirit at work here because I love
Yes.
Miles
I'm
Monroe.
going to
He's
tag you
been,
in that, both of you, so you can take a look at it. And likewise, Piju, you have a book too. Raise it up, raise it up.
come on.
Bam! Right there. And your book is A Poetic Odyssey of Proclamations. I absolutely adore and love it. What is your favorite excerpt?
Oh, okay. So it's very much the vision and the voice of the book is very much about the power of the spoken word.
Yes.
And I think we've become quite careless and carefree as humans about what we say and how we say it and the impact of our words. So obviously it's February, it's the month of love.
Yes.
We've talked about the growing from your personal core from the inside out.
Yes.
And a lot of that speaks to loving who you are.
Yes.
And a lot of people know how to love the other. We know how to love our siblings and our parents and our children, partners, husbands, wives. We know how to love friends. We know how to love places. Do we know how to love ourselves?
Oh, you're dropping bars. Love it.
So I'm going to speak to self-love, which is part of the proclamation that you can speak over yourself. How do I love me? Let me count the ways.
Yes.
Not only on good days,
Yes.
when I feel the sun's rays. I long to gaze at my current phase and express self-love with a powerful phrase. I am a beautiful blaze.
Yes.
This is my current craze as I navigate life's maze. Watch me dazzle and daze. I will amaze.
Yes.
My glorious reflection says that I love me in all ways till the end of my days, even as my hair glows with
Great.
Come on.
OMG, Joe. That was so good. That was so good. I could finish the line. I was so into it.
So
Wow.
same like OB, you can get this Poetic Odyssey of Proclamations. It's 31 ways to sow, grow, and flow goodness into your life.
I love it. There's a rhythm to it.
There's a rhythm, there's a rhyme, there's a romance. So get it on Amazon, Core Leaders International website, or my website, bejuabuchi.com.
I love it. Oh my gosh, I am in love with you guys as a couple. Oh, you guys are so fiery for real. So
and hang on, sorry, audiobook. I just recorded the audiobook, so you can get
so
this
that'll be
out soon.
Nice.
Get this on audio. You can hear my voice as I read it.
Oh my gosh, that's good, Piju, because you did a phenomenal job right there.
Thank you.
So clearly, you two are aligned, both authors.
Yeah.
What? The question I want to throw out there, was this always the core of your relationship? Were you always aligned and in sync?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I think we were right from the start. The foundation of our relationship was friendship. And actually the foundation of our relationship was team.
Yeah.
So we, right from before we were even, before I was interested in her first. So before we were interested in each other, we worked well together. We led a Bible study group together at our campus. and we had a synergy, and in fact we even called one of our groups synergy. And the idea of synergy that I love is 1 + 1 = 5. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. And I think we saw that in each other, that 1 + 1 equals so much more. And so we could see that together we're able to do so much more. And I think that's the foundation of God's design. So
And you spoke that prophecy, OB, because you have 3 sons, right? So 1 + 1 did equal 5.
Yes. I know. Yeah.
Wow, I love it. You're on it, Tish. Yes, it's on it.
Yes, I love it. You were going to say, Piju?
Yeah, I was going to add. So we definitely had this lovely, respectful foundation. I respected Obi as a man who I could follow, who could lead people and lead me, and that was great. And I think there was another, that was where we had alignment, but we also had a misalignment in terms of the way we grew. So Obi was very big on personal development. He's a visionaire by design, and I was a lot less like that, a lot more like, I'll grow with my family, we'll grow as a couple, we'll grow, in tandem, in sync. And through that mind frame, I realized that Obi was so much further ahead. And it wasn't until I started to value my personal core, my journey, my development, my failings, falling forward, failing forward, that the alignment of the professional core became a thing, like dynamite. Because I was doing my own personal work. And as a result, we've been able to birth a beautiful podcast called The Jedi and the Spark Show.
Ooh, I gotta check it out. Check it out, listeners.
Check it out on YouTube.
Yes.
And it's about supporting couples, equipping couples to thrive in all seasons of life. We're big on, marriages, and we're big on couples thriving. So I think there was alignment, and there has been more alignment as we've stepped more into the greatness that God is calling us into.
I love it. I love it. And so this is Wednesday, February 12th. We are celebrating this episode as the month of love. What advice do you have to those that are listening? Because there is a process. We're not born married.
True.
We're born as individuals, and they can even use the core leadership, I'm guessing, right, to get to that step. What would be some advice you would give to some of our singles or engaged, those that may be looking at even some married couples? Because I've been there, done that, and sometimes there can be some adversity.
Defo. Good question.
Great question. One of the things that immediately comes to mind, and there's a real intentionality with going back to core. There are different ways that we can go through life. We can go through life looking at other people as the problem. It's always them. They need to change. They need to do something. When you start to take accountability for yourself and say, in a relationship, yes, there are things that my partner needs to work on, my boyfriend needs to work on, my husband, my wife needs to work on. But I don't have control over that. What I have control over is me. And so I'm going to work on me. I'm going to develop me. And sometimes that may even mean I need to forgive the other person. That's the responsibility. That responsibility isn't on them. It's I've got to take responsibility for that. And so there's a foundational thing in a relationship where I'm taking responsibility for how I'm showing up. So a relationship isn't 50% plus 50%. It's 100% plus 100%. Right? And so I'm putting all my 100% in, and then that's a way of influencing the other person, but not forcing them. And if they're dropping their 100%, then I don't say, oh, I'm going to drop mine. I'm going to keep showing up as the best version of me, because that matters to me.
That's right. I love it. You know, that accountability, that self-awareness is so important. Before you can love anybody else, you have to love yourself. To be able to be solution oriented and have those strategies. Okay, I'm stuck. There's a fork in a road. What do we do? What do I do? How can I make it over?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to shout out again Piju's book when it comes to the words that we speak. From my preparation in life coaching and executive coaching, what you speak about, you continually bring about.
Absolutely.
If you speak faith, if you speak, you are going to conquer that thing like the lion and the elephant. You're going to do it, right? As opposed to, like Obi said, pointing the finger and just going down the rabbit hole is just counterproductive and not going to reap the results that you really truly desire. So thank you so much, Obi, for that. Now, Miss Piju, we had lunch in Dubai.
We did,
and we had an amazing, transparent conversation. And in asking you this question, I find myself inadvertently asking the question for myself. When there are options out there, and the options seem to be pretty decent options, you know, how do you know? How did you know that Obi was the guy for you?
Wow. Well, Tish, I didn't know. I did not know. And I'm so grateful that the story is different, because I did then begin to know. And again, I go back to the whole relational core team. I had and I have such wonderful friends who could speak life into me. And when I was like, no, I want this kind of guy, and you know, what my girlfriends did was, what about Obi don't you like? This is when obviously Obi was really interested in me, and I was like, I don't know if he's my kind. And there was nothing. What about him don't you respect? There was nothing. I thought, I really respect him. He's very kind. He leads, and I will follow, because I love the way he leads. His worldview, I respect that. And I think sometimes we put too much pressure on, I need to know. Do you see what I mean? I know God knew, but with me, God had to unravel. There was a journey of unraveling. So there was friendship. And then I wrestled with, could there be romance? And, you know, Obi was really close to my friends and my sisters. So they saw what I couldn't see. So you need to surround yourself with people who can see in this potential person what you can't see, and they can bring that back to you. And again, what I'm going to say, even for people who are single, is this marriage does not save you. You're not, this is not a savior.
Not at all.
It really isn't. I went in thinking, he's my soulmate, my prayer partner. We're going to do everything together. He's almost like a savior.
On a pedestal.
Put him on, and he didn't want to be there. And I had to, bring him down off the pedestal, not bring him down, but
I get it.
But I think when you know how loved you are, whether you're single or you're married or you're engaged, when you understand that the creator of everything has already given his heart to you, he has already wowed you, he has gone after you, he has wooed you, you are worth being pursued by the creator of the universe, then you have a different view of yourself. You already know you're complete. You're not getting married to be complete. Neither do you feel incomplete as a single person. You just know you have been completed by the one who is complete, who completes you.
Yes.
And you see a relationship like this very differently.
Yes. In my morning devotion this morning, there were 4 verses that stood out to me from Psalm 145, verses 14 to 17, and it reads from the King James Version, "The Lord upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down." Sounds to me, Piju, that you had those army of sisters who could point out to you when you were, praying and asking God. The eyes of all wait upon thee. Wait for God, right? And thou givest them their meat in due season. Verse 16, thou openest thine hand and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. Lastly, the Lord is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. So just knowing the scripture that I love, Isaiah 54 and verse 5, before you are married, you are married.
Exactly.
Isaiah 54 verse 5 says, for thy maker is thine husband.
Yeah.
O Holy One of Israel. So when you know I am loved with an everlasting love, my diary was death. I was purchased by a price that not many men are willing to purchase.
Exactly.
So once you get to that point, if I am married, hallelujah. If I stay single, hallelujah. Because he's given me it all.
Exactly. That's it. That's
it.
the simple truth.
Yeah.
Hearing it is one thing, believing it is another.
There's just one other thing I think also just from a man's perspective as well. I think it's important for men to recognize that actually that the women in our lives that we get to marry, get to be with, they're not beneath us. If anything, they're an upgrade. Right? If anything, they're an upgrade, because we all know that the next evolution of anything that comes out, right, is usually an upgrade. And I think I think there's something, it's really important. I think some of the nastiness out there, the misogyny, the domestic violence. So I think that comes from a place of men abusing their power, right? And seeing themselves as, hey, I'm better, I'm stronger, and you're beneath me. That's not the case. And so I think that's a really important for men to understand as well.
Absolutely. And for women to hear, on Friday, I was buying a new car. And the lady that sold me the car, she was so cute. She was so cute. And she shared with me that she had weight loss surgery.
Wow.
And she showed me her before picture and her after picture. And she shared with me that she went through recovery from addiction.
Wow.
And her story, I mean, it just touched my heart of how God restores. Wow. As Obi said, some people do not use their leadership for good.
Exactly.
People abuse their leadership, and that can have psychological, mental, that can have such impact on someone that they need to go through the core of being restored to who God has called them to be, so that they can fulfill their greatest potential. So thank you so much, Obi, for saying that. Because just having to remind women it's okay that you're a woman. God made you a woman, and you're beautiful. And God made human race, male and female. He made us both, and he's given the man the strength right? He's given them bigger muscle mass. But that doesn't mean we're all created equal in his eyes. So thank you for humbly sharing that, because sometimes it can be interesting to go through some of our experiences. And for those ladies out there, just remember that you are worth it. If someone, you can hear it in the tone, if there's some contempt, right? The Gottman Institute talks about marriage, and there are 4 different horses that affect marriage, and one of those horsemen is contempt. You can hear that tone in the voice. And then if somebody raises a hand, red flag, just walk away.
That's no.
So here in America, programs of DEI were revoked. What would the Core Leadership Academy say to our brother or sister, right, who are professionals that are out of work now looking for employment?
So I think this is the beauty of our just core alignment model on the 4 areas. And there's a saying I heard many years ago: when you lose your way, you lose your why. And even if this has been revoked, when you are deeply connected to that inner sense of purpose and passion and who you are, then regardless of what the government have done, you'll find your way back into just adding value in the marketplace, because what you bring, the skills you have, the professionalism, that is going to make a difference. And so it's sobering right now, but I guarantee you hold on to your why. You'll find your way.
I love it. And that's so true. You know, your purpose cannot be erased by anyone's pen.
No, not at all.
God is giving you a purpose. We know that being entrepreneurs is a faith walk every day. What encouragement, PJ, do you have, or OB, for the entrepreneur that's in the building phase of their business?
Wow, gosh. Knowing that it is a building phase. It's not a completed building, right? We're using the analogy of, houses. It's a phase of building. And I dare I ask, what tools have you chosen to build with? Now, if you want to do this quick, you can choose tools that are not great quality. And actually your building's not going to be secure. Your building's not going to be strong because the foundation isn't right. Or you could do the long game, play the long game, choose the right building blocks, make sure the foundation is strong. It might take longer, but you're building stronger and you're building deeper. That is what I'm going to say. I mean, OB has this favorite quote that you use from Mufasa. What's
the quote? Yeah, easily comes to mind. So it is, if you want to go, it's one of my favorite African proverbs. They used it in the recent Mufasa movie. If you want to go fast, go it alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so, and that means that we may not get there as quickly, but we pull in the right people along the way. That's part of laying the great foundation that Peju talked about. And then you get to go far. And there's something else as well, I think, just from an entrepreneur perspective when it comes to building. I remember hearing this, I was probably 17, 18. First time I heard this idea of the main purpose in setting a vision is for what it makes of you to achieve it. Because the person you become. And I've had seasons in my life where I've had various just businesses I've tried to build, and I had a really unrealistic time frame that's it. Next month I'm going to make 10,000, and then second month I'm going to make 20,000, and then by month 6 I'm going to be a millionaire. Right? And then you realize, whoa, it's not happening as quickly, and that's often because the foundation isn't there, but the journey is growing me to build a foundation. And you look at most of the biblical stories, right?
Yes.
Whether it's from Joseph and even
Yes.
God saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to send a seed. It took 6,000 years thereabouts, depending on how you do the math, right? And then Joseph waiting 13 years.
Oh my gosh. Yes, poor Joseph.
And then the Israelites 430 years.
Yes.
So there's an interesting relationship with time. And I think we've got to learn to embrace the journey. It's easier said, harder done.
Yeah.
But when you trust the person you are with, that he's got your back and's got your heart, then it's easier to lean into the growth. And eventually you see yourself growing, you see yourself developing, and you realize that the journey is a bigger part of the gift rather than the end destination of I've got it all nailed and sorted.
Yes, who you become in the process is so true, so true. Shout out to Dr. Sonia Striblin, who was my coach, and that's what she said all the time.
Oh, come on.
Yep. So it's not only the month of love, we are in Black History Month. Please share the country that you all are from. And what do you have to say to, I mean, now I feel after going to Dubai and meeting so many people, international. What do you have to say to those, our people of the Black diaspora, as we celebrate Black History Month?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So we know it's Black History Month in the States.
Oh yeah.
In the UK, it's Black History Month in October.
Okay.
We are Nigerian. It's always Black History Month in Nigeria.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I want to speak to the diasporans.
Yes.
And just say we see you. We see you. You are seen. And you matter. We hear you, we value you, and we respect you. And I think it's important that we know that we were created to be great.
Great. I love it.
So much in our history, and so much in, in certain people's experiences that speak to we're put down and we're not made for much and we're never going to get far. No.
That's right, Biju.
No, seriously. We are not just a color.
Yes.
We are a profound people of power, of passion,
kings and queens.
Royalty.
Kings and queens.
And we need to be lifting each other up.
Yes.
There's enough of pulling down that happens in the workplace, in the corporate world. We need to be lifting each other up and saying we can soar together. So when people say, like, when we're having conversations with friends and they say, oh yeah, Black people, they don't really share, they're not great at community building. We're like, oh no, they are. We're speaking, we're like, they're great. They do community well. They look out for each other. The whole village kind of concept, Black people are fantastic at it.
Absolutely.
They are. And we can go to any country and we can hold our heads up high and say we are here to add value. We're here to bring good. We can say in these countries, you guys are so lucky to have us.
Yes.
You are so lucky that we are here.
We are assets.
Yes, we're here to make things better. We're here to
innovate. Yes. Absolutely.
So we've got you. We see you.
That was beautiful. I would be remiss if I didn't ask Brother Obi, from one Black man to a Black man that's listening to this podcast, what encouragement would you have to say?
I could name brother after brother, man after man, who has demonstrated wisdom, who has demonstrated power. We talked about a few already, the Miles Monroes of the Michael Juniors,
Yes.
the Nelson Mandelas,
Yes.
right? It's the Barack Obamas. I mean, you
Yes.
could go on and on and on of just the phenomenal, courageous, strong men who have added so much value. And I think it's so critical that we look ourselves in the mirror with a sense of pride about all that we contribute, whether that's in the movie industry, the business industry, the arts, sciences, it's politics, it's teaching. There is so much of value that we add, and just recognize it. It's hold our power. And ultimately, it all comes down to our sense of identity, just knowing who we are and whose we are, and carry ourselves like the royals that we are. Because we really are royalty. And when with all of the oppression, it's not because we were nothing, it's because we were something.
That's right.
That's why you oppress, you bully something when there's fear, when there's insecurity. And so reframing that, it's like, why has there been all of that? It's because of the power that is within us. And so tap in and unleash it with a dignity and with an honor. The thing about royalty is we don't have to prove it, right? We don't have to then turn the table and say, hey, we're now going to oppress you. No, we just carry ourselves with the dignity and honor that we have, and add the value that we know that is innate within us. So
wonderful.
That's what I'd say.
That was beautiful, OB. Beautiful. I mean, that pretty much both you and Piju captured the last question in terms of what, your final word. I think that was a perfect ending. How does the audience stay connected? Please, what is your name on YouTube so that they can follow your podcast? Shout out where they can find your books again as you bid farewell.
Well, the podcast on YouTube is called The Jedi and the Spark Show.
Nice.
So that's on YouTube. And then I'm also on YouTube, Peju Abuchi. Nice. We're on LinkedIn, Obi Abuchi, Peju the Spark Abuchi. We're on Instagram, The Jedi and the Spark Show.
And Obi Abuchi, you can find me on Instagram.
And on Instagram, I'm Powerful Poetic Presence.
Beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. And we're also planning an incredible leadership conference. In April 29th.
Core 2025. So that's about
Core 2025 people.
Core 2025.
Sign up.
This is going to be the first of annual events. So if you want to be at the inaugural one, you want to be in London, April 29th. 2025.
Yes, we'd love to connect. We'd love to keep the conversations going with some of you. We'd love to share more about who we are, what we're about, where we're going, what we're thinking, what we're dreaming.
And grow together. And grow together. Let's grow together.
Defo.
Couple, it has been an honor to have you on Shine.
Thank you for having us.
You guys have beyond shined. You just exploded like fireworks beautifully. Organic, amazing. Listening audience, until next time, keep shining. Toodles.
Ciao.